he told me, he's like, I just really miss you and I still love you. And I thought I was going to be good without you, but I'm not.
That's Harley. She's talking about what her avoidance said to her after no contact. Now, funny enough, Harley was just one of the many success story interviews that I binged while prepping for this video, and they all seem to point toward the same odd phenomenon. Avoidance realizing that they love you after a period of no contact. Check out this interview with Sophie.
Just be, you know, steady with the progress that you've made. Altogether, it took us like a month or a month and a half to get back together. So it was basically like just after no contact. He was like, "Can I call you?" And we thought we'd try again.
Okay, so once again, we have a period of no contact and an avoidant suddenly coming back. Now, what could Harley and Sophie possibly have discovered about avoidance that led to this insane result of them coming back after no contact? Well, I decided to dig a bit deeper into their interviews, and it turns out both of them are really smart. They may have uncovered a hidden blueprint for understanding why so many avoidants seem to respond to these long silences, and there are three main takeaways. Now, the first big takeaway is the Phantom X fawning. So in the book Attached, Amir Levine and Rachel Heller talk a lot about this concept of a Phantom X. They say that one of the consequences of devaluing your romantic relationship is that you often wake up long after the relationship has gone stale, having forgotten all those negative things that annoyed you about your partner, wondering what went wrong, and reminiscing longingly about your long-lost love. Now, I want you to keep that in mind as you listen to Sophie here.
Started going to the gym again, and I'm posting on social media on a regular schedule, and I'm always going out with people, having a great time. Even when I was blocked, I was doing all of that. And I think that's initially what made him curious. Like, I've talked to him now, and he was like, "You seem to be doing really well. Like, you were doing all these things without me." And it got me thinking. So I did work the Trinity.
Now, why is this Phantom X relevant? Well, Sophie says that during no contact, she's hitting the gym, she's posting confident updates, she's going out with friends, and her avoidant ex is literally watching all of this, but from a distance. And because he's not in direct contact with her, he's forced to fill in the gaps using memory, imagination, and some selective nostalgia. And that's where the Phantom X comes in. He's not really reacting to the real Sophie anymore. He's reacting to kind of a mental construct. Someone who's confident, composed, no longer clingy or emotionally reactive. She's thriving without him, and in his mind, she becomes more attractive the further she drifts from reality. Psychologists actually have a term for this kind of thing. It's called mental time travel, the ability to project ourselves into the past and future using memory and imagination. Now, according to the APA, mental time travel allows us to re-experience past events and imagine future ones, helping us plan, learn from mistakes, and relive emotionally significant moments. Now, in Sophie's case, he's doing all three at once. He replays old memories of when things were good. He imagines future scenarios of seeing her again. And most importantly, he fills in the blanks with this idealized version of her. The key distinction to make is that this isn't just longing. It's longing through the lens of fantasy. And that's what gives the Phantom X so much power. Avoidants don't miss the relationship as it was. They miss the version of you that they reconstruct in your absence. And in that vacuum, the mind idealizes. The negative memories begin to fade, and your avoidant starts to wondering, wait, what if I lost the one person who actually got me? And just like that, they start fawning from afar. But this got me thinking, is Sophie's avoidant actually falling in love with her again? Or is this Phantom X fawning kind of like fool's gold? I mean, it looks nice, but in the end, it's fake. Well, From what I've observed, I think it always starts out as fool's gold, but it can turn real based on how the reconnection goes. I think the real question is, can both people become secure and have a healthy relationship? And it's funny because Sophie mentioned something similar.
So since then, like, we've been working through, and we've had a couple of fights, but we've handled them very differently. Where I've been like, okay, you know what? I think we need a minute. We'll come back to this in a few hours or tomorrow or whatever. And if you can't see me, I'm like, you know what? No problem. You can't see me today. Go see your friends. Go do whatever. And that's something that he was like, oh yeah, this is something I still want in my life, because I guess everyone kind of looks for what's in it for them. And in that sense, he realized he would have a greater sense of freedom to make decisions without fearing the anxious consequences, essentially.
It's that last line that's everything. That is the deepest need of most avoidants, the freedom to choose closeness without being punished for needing distance. That's the kind of thing that allows a relationship to turn from fool's gold to real gold.
This is Jessie. A few years ago, she was exactly where you are right now, wondering if she had lost the love of her life for good. The man she thought she'd marry was gone, and no matter what she tried, nothing was working. But then, something changed. She found a roadmap, one that gave her a clear plan, step by step, to not only get her avoidant back, but to turn their relationship into something even stronger.
If I hadn't had a specific plan and roadmap, we would not be together today, because I didn't have the tools otherwise to approach it in a very strategic and intentional way.
And now, that same man is her husband. Jessie isn't an exception. She's proof that the right strategy works. That's why I built the Seiter Super Offer. So you don't have to guess, so you don't have to waste months or even years stuck in a cycle that never works. Now, right now, for YouTube viewers only, I'm giving you everything you need to get results like Jessie's. My complete course library, a private community, weekly live streams. Now, normally I sell all of these things separately, but today you're going to get everything at 50% off, a one-time payment of $97. No monthly fees, no hidden costs, just everything you need to make your avoidant regret losing you and reignite their obsession. So, if you're interested, click the link in the description below and start your transformation today.
All right, so let's talk about takeaway number 2. The fact that time apart changes you. Let's go back to Harley's interview for a moment. She says something super interesting in it.
Like I said, I was more emotionally there than he was in the relationship. So now it feels like he has something to lose.
Now, what she's talking about here is perception. Let's imagine we have 3 Harleys, the version before no contact, the version during no contact, and the version after no contact. Avoidants often have this negative perception of you before a no contact happens. This perception is often informed by their past relationship experience and their current history with you. So often they'll view you like Harley said, more emotionally invested than they are. Then a breakup happens and we enter into the no contact phase. And now I'm going to say something super controversial. Everyone thinks that they have unlimited time and unlimited chances to reshape their perception of you. They don't. Your choices during no contact are the only thing that rewrites the story that they've been telling themselves, which of course directly impacts how they think about you in the after no contact phase. So there's this really interesting cause and effect relationship that all 3 versions of our Harley have. The before version is the one that he left. The during version is the one he potentially obsesses over, but the after version is the one he has to reckon with. But here's the catch. The during phase is the hinge point. That's the version he doesn't have direct access to. And because avoidants avoid, he watches from afar and starts to mentally reconstruct who you are. This means that if you're still chasing, you're still posting emotional quotes, you're still reacting, you're just echoing that before version. But if you level up while staying silent, you plant seeds of doubt in everything he thought he knew about you. You become unfamiliar. And in the world of the avoidant, the unfamiliar is intriguing. That's the paradox. You don't get to control how they see you after no contact, but you do control how they imagine you during it. And that imagination becomes the foundation of whether they come back or they walk away for good. So what does this actually look like in real time? Well, luckily, we don't have to imagine because we have Harley's real success story to pull from. Listen to some of the things she was doing during no contact.
And I started going to the gym and posted about that. And he started going to the gym like a year before we broke up. So I knew he was really into that gym scene, and he wanted me to care more about my health. So I took that into consideration, and I started doing that to get him interested, to show him that I was caring about myself and trying harder to be better.
You also see her talk a lot about mutual friends, essentially telling her story for her.
We have a lot of mutual friends. So what I was doing was getting back to him.
Oh, and my personal favorite.
I started getting more comfortable with myself and started trying to go on more dates. And so she was telling him that, and he's a very jealous person. I wouldn't say jealous in an unhealthy way, but
it works.
It worked.
Definitely
yeah,
works.
it worked.
Okay.
So I was going on more dates, trying to get more comfortable with myself and figure out who I am by myself, because I've been in a lot of long-term relationships. I've never tried to focus on myself. So this was the first time I focused on myself and realized who I was and my worth and all that. And she was just telling him that. And that really is what got to him.
So do you see a theme developing here? Harley decides to invest in herself by getting healthier. Mutual friends are constantly pestering her avoidant about how great she's doing, and she's dating other people. All three of these things scream that she's letting go, that she's over her avoidant, and that's really the third big takeaway. No contact fast tracks letting go. Everyone thinks the no contact rule is about their ex or the avoidant, about giving them space, making them miss you, triggering some kind of chase response. But the longer I've watched people go through it, the more I realize that's the trap. Because if your whole goal in going no contact is to get a reaction out of them, you're still emotionally tethered. You're not truly letting go. You're just performing distance as a strategy. And avoidance can feel that. The real power of no contact is that it accidentally does the one thing that actually draws avoidance back in. It helps you detach. Not out of bitterness, but out of truth. You stop fighting for scraps. You start filling your own cup, and suddenly, the person who had always had the upper hand senses that something is different. You're not orbiting them anymore. You're not waiting for breadcrumbs. No contact works, not because it manipulates the avoidant, but because it transforms you. And that's what they can't ignore. So in this video, I've really only featured 2 live success stories. We have Sophie and Harley. Both swear by the no contact rule. Both had avoidants come back and admit their love. But if you're not careful in how you understand their situations, all you'll see is the no contact rule. They ignored their avoidant for a certain amount of time, and that's what worked. But I don't think that's what worked. It was what they did with that time apart. Like I said, their actions are more consistent with letting go or gaining more emotional control. Harley goes on dates. Sophie raves about the idea of emotional control. There's this really great podcast from the American Psychological Association talking about the benefits of solitude. I'll let Dr. Weinstein take it from here.
There are times where solitude is needed, beneficial, appreciated, but there are quite a few times that it's not. And for young people as well, what the research is highlighting is that if they're going to be alone, they really do prefer to be doing something versus sitting alone with your thoughts is a special form of solitude that isn't always right for everybody all the time. We do find as people age throughout the kind of adult lifespan, they get more comfortable both with solitude and with being alone with their thoughts.
Here's what I took that to mean. Solitude, when chosen intentionally, can be a powerful space for self-reflection and identity formation. And that's exactly what Harley and Sophie tapped into. In their stories, no contact wasn't just silence. It was active solitude. It was them choosing to rebuild, not react, to explore who they were outside of the relationship. And that's the thing. So often, especially in these anxious and avoidant dynamics, we lose parts of ourselves to maintain connection. We abandoned identity to avoid abandonment. And the only real way to get that back is through conscious distance. That's what Harley did when she started dating again. That's what Sophie did when she focused on emotional control. They weren't just ignoring their avoidance. They were choosing themselves, which ironically causes the avoidance to fall in love with you after the no contact all over again.